the Janice Cobb of Save My Pet ID tag. Engraved with your pet's info, they allow emergency personnel to start care for your pets if you're sick or injured. Head over to SaveMyPetIDtag.com and explore products. They ensure peace of mind for you and for your four-legged family.
Hey, calling all you Yellowstone TV fans. Come on. And I'm whistling for all you dogs who love yummy, healthy treats. And an occasional cat who meows. All right. Our special guest today is a highly successful entrepreneur. And he just unleashed a Yellowstone dog treat. Oh, that's a mouthful. A Yellowstone dog treat creation. So are you curious? Well, let's give pause and applause to a wonderful dog dad and co-founder of LFG Product Solutions. Please welcome Kevin Rizer. Welcome, Kevin.
Hey, thanks so much, Arden. It's my pleasure, and I'm glad to be here.
All right. So we're going to get going because many of you have watched all the different Yellowstone shows. And I think they all have dates in them, right? 1923. Do you remember? It sounds like a football hut.
That's
1923 hut.
That's right.
So,
yeah, there's 1883, 1923, and then the original Yellowstone with more spinoffs, they say, on the way.
Oh my gosh. So this is so cool. How does someone like you who loves dogs and is a businessman work a deal with Paramount for dog treats? With the theme, and it's called Dutton Ranch Dog Treats. Well, for the three people on the planet, what does the Dutton mean?
Yeah, so the Dutton family is the centerpiece of the show Yellowstone and the whole Yellowstone universe. And it's a family that goes back generations and has the largest continuous cattle ranch in the United States, all fictional, but very relatable, especially to people up in that part of the country. And they're facing long odds and battling all different types of people and entities trying to encroach on their land and their way of life. And they're looking for ways to survive. And so it's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a backyard that's fenced, but there's no cattle mooing coming through or anything. Right. But it is interesting because the show goes and takes on the special challenges of those time periods, right? So I know you like the show. Is there a specific time period that you really love the best, and why?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And all of the different challenges through the time periods are really fascinating to see how they've overcome such long odds. I especially like the modern times, though, because it's a clash of kind of old world values and ways of doing life and doing business going up against modern day developments and people that are trying to build airports and things of that nature. So I think that to me is the most fascinating.
Well, I know the show has a few, maybe people might recognize them. Helen Mirren, Kevin Costner. Who's some other ones? Who's some big names?
Yeah. So Kelly Riley, Cole Hauser. There's just a lot of great talent. Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Have you met any of them?
Faith Hill. I haven't. No, I haven't. The closest I've come is to meeting Taylor Sheridan, who's the producer and writer and creator of the show. But he was in Las Vegas in August at the same time that we were doing our official launch at Super Zoo. And
I love Super
we
Zoo.
We kind of heard through the grapevine that he was in town, but we didn't get to meet him.
So back up the bus. How did you first create a dog treat? It's healthy. We'll talk about that. And how did you reach out to Paramount? Because they're the ones that will give you the permission to do the Dutton Ranch dog treat label.
Yeah. So it's a funny story. And I always like to quip that if I tell you, you won't believe me, because the simple truth is I just asked.
Entrepreneur tip number one. Just
that's
ask.
Right. Just asked. The worst they could say. But my business partner, Christian, and I had wanted to create a new brand of super healthy, high quality, high protein treats. And we'd always been approached by different licensing opportunities in the past, but nothing really tickled our fancy or was compelling enough for us to want to pursue it. But I knew that Yellowstone had a huge following. I knew that there were a lot of other Yellowstone products that were being developed, that were seeing success in the marketplace, that were seen as high quality consumer products. And so I said to Christian, do you think a Yellowstone dog treat line might work? And he said, yeah, I think it might. And so I reached out to Paramount, and I'm not kidding, Arden, within about 5 or 10 minutes, I heard back and there was immediate interest. And of course, there was months and months of meetings, and you got to get the attorneys involved. And there's lots of little...
We call them legal beagles.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got to get the number crunchers and the attorneys involved. But lo and behold, within about 6 months, we had a deal and it was off to the races.
So what is in the treats? And please tell us, have you tried it yourself?
I have not tried it.
Although be a man, be a big man, put your big pants on. Come on.
You certainly could. You certainly could. It's all human grade ingredients, but we've got 12 different varieties split across 4 different categories. They're all single or limited ingredient treats.
Oh, I like
very clean ingredient labels, high in protein. We don't include any additives or artificial flavorings, preservatives or colors. None of the nasties, we call them.
Yeah.
And we wanted something that was not only healthy and quality, because that's what we like to feed our pets, but we also wanted to be true to the brand. And so beef is the number 1 ingredient in all of the treats.
I wonder why.
Right? But it's all USA grass-fed beef. Our organ cuts are actually certified organic beef.
Good.
And so we feel like that really ties in authentically to the show as well. Essentially what we did, Arden, is we locked ourselves in a room for about a week and we said, hey, if the Dutton family really did start a dog treat company, how do we think they would do it? What treats would they sell? How would they be made? What would the packaging look like? And we tried to just follow that ethos.
So what are they shaped like? Are they for different sized weight dogs, or how are they packaged?
Yeah, great question. So we've got our originals line that consist of like beef chips, which are almost like a little cookie looking thing, but they're made out of beef. And then we've got beef crunch, which is little bite-sized pieces. All of the treats can be broken up. So whether you have a big dog or a small dog, you can break them up. We've got our organ cuts, which is air-dried organ cuts. We've got heart, lung, and liver, and the dogs really love those. Those are also a great training treat because they're diced up. They can be put in your pocket or a pouch and pulled out very easily. We have our ranch cuts, which are beef sticks and strips. So those are a little bit longer and chewier. And then we have beef burnt ends, which is exactly what it sounds like. Okay. And then our most premium line is called our cowboy cuts. And that's things like beef ribeye, beef brisket, and beef chuck. And that's literally beef chuck, beef ribeye, beef brisket that's sliced thin and slowly air dried over a course of about 5 days. All of the treats are air dried. So minimally processed.
And I want to ask you about that because when people get kibble and some processing, a lot of the goodies get baked off or cooked off. Right. So can you just let people know a little bit about the benefits of air dried?
Yeah. So if we think about our canine friends and back hundreds of years ago, before we called them pets and gave them nice cushy places to lay their head at night, they were scavengers. They were hunters and gatherers. And so they weren't used to going to the supermarket and grabbing a bag of kibble or finding a nice piece of meat and stuffing it in the oven for an hour. They ate raw. And so anything that we can do to get as close to that as possible, including with their treats, is going to have a higher nutrition content, a higher amount of minerals and vitamins that get retained and passed along to them. So you see a lot of air drying or freeze drying now is also a great mechanism. And it's just a way to, as you said, not bake out all the good stuff. There is an initial kill step. So it is cooked to get rid of any bacteria and make sure that it's safe for them. But beyond that, the rest of the process is taking place very slowly over a period of days and not hours or minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, everyone. We're speaking with Kevin Rizer. He and his team have launched the Dutton Ranch Dog Treats, and he's told you all the different varieties. I'm already getting hungry. But we're going to dive in a little bit to his life as an entrepreneur and why he has a book called Always Wear Pants. And of course, his dogs in his life after we take this break. And you know the drill. We got to sit, stay. We'll be right back.
Pet Grange just donated a large amount of catnip and cat grass to Beagle Freedom Project. who recently just converted an animal testing lab into an animal sanctuary called Freedom Fields. Giving cats in a rescue access to cat grass and catnip can really help with their mood or acclimating if they came from outside to inside. And reducing a cat's anxiety really helps their chances of getting adopted. If you'd like to learn more about Pet Greens, or if you're a nonprofit and would like to request some cat grass for your sanctuary, please visit petgreens.com.
Arden Moore here with some great news. I have not one, but 2 calendars coming out in 2025. Order yours now. For my feline friends, it is How to Speak Cat. You're going to learn why and how cats purr and how do they really talk using their tails. For my dog folks, we got How to Speak Dog. Why do dogs dig to dig? And what does it mean when they go belly up? And what does it really mean when they're giving you doggy kisses? Answers are here. Get your paws on the calendars today. Go to Amazon.com or click on this QR code. Paws up. Welcome back to Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life Show. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We're speaking with Kevin Rizer. He has helped create the Dutton Ranch dog treats. It's a whole lineup of things. And you know the name Dutton. Come on, Yellowstone folks. You know what we're talking about. And he just said entrepreneur rule number 1. It doesn't hurt to ask. So he dialed up Paramount, he and his team, and they said yes. And now they have a whole lineup of products. So I'm really curious as a cat, maybe, Kevin, what in the heck is your company? It is called the, what is it?
LFG.
Yeah, what does that all mean? Come on, it sounds like alphabet soup. LFG product groups.
Product solutions. Yeah. So as you mentioned, Arden, I am an entrepreneur. My business partner, Christian, and I, for the past 10 plus years, have developed brands and products in the consumer space, both in pets and in other categories as well. And so we, about 2 years ago, were looking for a new opportunity, a new challenge, and we thought it might be fun to take the skills and experience we had and partner and collaborate with other brands that had intellectual property that was loved and well known, and work together with them to bring products to market pets and their parents would feel good about and that would improve the quality of their lives. So the Yellowstone project is the first one out of the gate. And really, it's simple. It's the fact that there's a lot of really beloved brands out there. And if we can find a way to marry those with great products, it's a win.
I like it. And you and I are sort of geographically pretty close by. Tell people where you're from and where you are now.
Yeah, so I grew up in Oklahoma City, and now home is Dallas, Texas, just down the road a bit, and love to travel, but Dallas is home. And
that's where I am right now.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. You can't just do the Dutton Ranch dog treats and just say, oh, I'll just give it to some dogs. They've been listening all show, Kevin, and they have really good ears. One of them does, one of them doesn't. So would you please kindly introduce Mika and Odin?
Yes, absolutely. So my husband and I have two kids. They're our children. Mika is a 5-year-old lab a lab blue heeler mix.
Wow.
And so think of her as, we call her like a pocket lab, or I like to say she's a lab that will fit under the seat in front of you. She's about 60 pounds and just a lot of fun, very sassy, very confident.
Okay.
And the other one is Odin, and he is a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd blue heeler mix, and he is fully deaf. So if you've never heard the term,
blue eyes?
He's lethal white, I think they call but he makes up for what he doesn't have in terms of hearing. He makes up for in personality and spunk, and just has a lot of energy. So we like to joke that Mika is like the angel, and he's whatever the opposite of that is. But they get along great, and they just bring a lot of joy to our lives. We rescued them both about 1.5 years apart.
So your husband's probably listening too. You better say his first name at least.
Hey, Austin.
Hey, Austin. Oh, of course. He has to have a Texan city name, right?
That's right. That's right.
So people are curious because dogs don't look at maybe having 3 legs or not being able to hear or not being able to see. They seem to put the capital A in being adaptable. Can you talk a little bit about how you and Austin have worked with Odin to let him have a full and rich life. Who cares he can't hear?
Yeah. No, it's such a great point, right? Because they really don't. They don't understand the word disability and they don't really think of what they don't have. And that's true in so many senses of the word, right? They really focus on what they do have. It's a great lesson, I think, for us. But Odin is full of life and does live a full life. He just adapts, and we've helped him adapt in different ways. And so you still find yourself yelling across the room, trying to get his attention every now and then, just out of habit. But we've learned to use things like hand signals. He knows about 24 signs. You can stomp on a floor if it's a wooden floor or something where he might feel a vibration.
Good.
And you can also use a little flashlight or a little laser pointer.
Oh, really?
To get their attention if they're not paying attention. But just like kids or some pets have selective hearing, we like to say that Odin has selective vision. So just this morning, he was out in the backyard and I was trying to get his attention and he's looking everywhere else but right at me. And then the final thing I would say about that, Arden, is that Mika, our other dog, is a big help as well.
Yes.
And she knew right away when we brought Odin home that something was different. And so she is really his guide dog, so to speak.
Yeah.
They're really attached to each other, really bonded at this point. And he really relies on her for a lot of those nonverbal cues. For example, when it's dinner time or if dad's got a treat to offer. I better be
wonder
careful.
if it's a Dutton Ranch dog treat.
It's so funny when they were developing the treats, because we did develop them from the ground up. We had an incredible team led by Brad Allen, who started from scratch. And they do this thing when they're developing treats called bench tops, which is essentially just like a test kitchen type of thing. And they sent me a whole bunch of them. And so our dogs were really happy for a while. And then we ran out and there was a few months gap between then and the first production run. So when I finally got some treats back in the house, they were relieved to have them back.
Well, let's talk about the connection with Mika and Odin, because this is really important. You said that Mika's 5 and Odin's 3. How old was Mika when you adopted Mika as a rescue?
About a year and a half.
Okay. And how about for Odin?
He was about a year, right at a year.
So there was a time where it was Mika only, right?
That's right.
So what made you say, how did you go about introducing Mika and Odin, and now they're good siblings?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Odin was being fostered by a really great organization in North Texas called Lone Star Aussie Rescue.
Aww.
And they do an amazing job. And his foster parents had just done so much work with him. And so we actually took Mika over to their house so that they could meet, because that was a big question, was how they would get along. And they hit it off right away. We've got some really fun pictures of them doing the Zoomies together and playing pretty rough in that first meeting. And they still do that. I mean, it was love at first sight. And so we felt pretty confident about that fit. We were less confident about how we would do as parents to a deaf
you
dog.
You just doubled in.
Yeah, but it was really a great experience.
So I did tease everybody. I said you are the author of a book called Always Wear Pants and 99 Other Tips for Surviving and Thriving While You Work From Home. That's a big subtitle.
It is.
But you got a handle about what was going on during the pandemic. So always wear pants. I have pants on now. If you don't have any pants on, don't stand up, Kevin.
You got it. Yeah, it's fun. So I've worked remotely for 10 plus years. Ever since I left corporate, we always used to joke that we were Zooming before it was cool, before everyone else was. But so when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of strange, unusual new things, but that wasn't one of them for me.
Yeah. No.
But I saw so many people that I knew, friends and family members and neighbors, introduced to working remotely for the first time. And I saw the struggles they were having. I saw the funny memes and the pictures that they were posting online. And I thought, gosh, there's something here. So it was a lot of fun to put together a book, a little kind of survival guide, if you will, on how to not just survive while you're working from home, but to thrive and hopefully make it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more productive.
So we just have a few, less than a minute left. What's a couple of tips you can give people so they don't embarrass themselves on a remote Zoom call?
Yeah, great question. I think one thing that I always like to focus on is comfort. So making sure you have a proper chair. Unlike me right now, I'm sitting on the couch talking to you, but you wouldn't want to sit here all day, every day and work your back. I think that's a big one, a proper desk. And then as far as Zoom calls or virtual meetings, pay attention to what's behind you. Turn on the camera, take a little gander and see what you look like, and make sure that whatever's behind you is what you'd like for people to see.
I agree. I don't really need the messy bedroom shot. I don't need the bookshelf where they have their book in front and all you do is stare at all the titles. You read them and you're not even hearing what the person's saying, right, Kevin?
Right. That's exactly right.
Oh my gosh. So how do we get our paws on Dutton Ranch dog treats?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Arden. So right now they're available on Amazon.com. A few of our varieties are on Walmart.com.
Oh, cool.
They'll be available on Chewy, we think sometime in late November. And then coming to retail in December and through the beginning of next year will be in Meijer, Pet Supplies Plus, CVS, a whole host of other retailers. So pretty much anywhere quality dog treats are sold by the mid part of next year.
I love it. Hey, everyone. We've been speaking with Kevin Rizer. He has helped launch the Dutton Ranch dog treats, but he's so much more than that, too. He's a good dog daddy, and he's a brainiac and an entrepreneur that has made it, and he keeps making it. So I am so happy that you've been on our show. You survived. What do you think?
Oh, thank you so much, Arden. You're so kind. And thanks for all the work you do for all of our four-legged friends.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.